Today I'm going to demonstrate how to reload some 5.56 NATO rifle ammunition. Here's a few things you're going to need to get started. First, you're going to need some once-fired range brass, 5.56. Next, you're going to need some rifle powder. I personally choose the Ogden CFE 223. Reason why I choose this powder is because I can cross-reference it between my 223, 5.56, and my 308 reloads. Next, you're going to need a case tumbler. A case tumbler will help clean up all the brass and remove all the excess debris. You're also going to want to pair the case tumbler with some Turbo Bright Lyman brass polish. As for the media, there's a couple choices you can choose. You can either choose corn or walnut media. Personally, I like the walnut media because it's a lot more coarser and it's less dustier. You're also going to need some primers. I utilize the CCI number 41 primers for 5.56 ammunition small rifle military primers. Very important, you're going to need some case lube. Make sure you lube your brass prior to trying to uniform the brass and resize it. The whole point of lubing your brass is to avoid the brass getting stuck in your die set, and that's not very fun to remove once it's been stuck. I've taken the liberty and I've done a lot of the brass prep work ahead of time so we can move on to the next step a lot faster. So here's what the completed brass should look like once it's been tumbled, uniformed, and cleaned. I've also decapped the primer and I've cleaned inside the primer pocket, as you can see. So let's move on to the reloading part. You take your brass, put in the shell plate. This is a Hornady shell plate number 16. And this first step, what this does is it uniforms the brass. Remember, make sure you have some case lube on that brass. This step will uniform the brass to prevent jams. That way it will cycle in your barrel correctly. It will also remove the old primer. The next step is the activated case powder drop. What this step does is it drops the powder inside your brass. I'm using 25.5 grains of CFE 223 powder. The next step is seating the projectile. These are 75 grain projectiles. Put it at the mouth opening of the brass, as you can see. Pull the handle, and this will seat the projectile inside the brass. The last step is a crimper. That's optional. And here's what the completed product looks like.